The morning sky over Hiroshima was calm and clear. At exactly 8:15 a.m., an American B-29 bomber named Enola Gay released a weapon unlike anything the world had ever witnessed. A blinding flash, brighter than the sun, consumed the city in an instant. Tens of thousands were gone within moments, and many more would perish from burns and radiation in the days that followed. Just 3 days later, another bomb fell on Nagasaki. And with that, the war that had engulfed the world for 6 long years came to an abrupt and violent end. But the end raised haunting questions that still echo through time. Why did the United States decide to use the atomic bomb? Was it truly necessary to end the war? Or was it meant as a message to Japan, to the Soviet Union, and to the world about the dawn of a terrifying new era? By mid-1945, Japan's empire was collapsing. The Allies had fought their way across the Pacific, island by island, at a terrible cost. At Iwo Jima and Okinawa, Japanese troops fought to the last man. Civilians chose death over surrender. American losses climbed into the hundreds of thousands. President Harry Truman, newly in office after Franklin Roosevelt's death, faced an impossible choice: invade Japan, risking millions of lives, or wait for surrender while suffering continued across Asia. For years, a secret scientific effort, the Manhattan Project, had worked to harness the power of the atom. By July 1945, they had succeeded. In the New Mexico desert, at a site named Trinity, the first atomic explosion lit the sky and turned sand into glass. When Truman received the news at the Potsdam Conference, he knew he held a weapon that could end the war and change humanity forever. Yet Japan refused to yield. Its cities were already in ruins from relentless firebombing. Tokyo was ashes, but the military government still vowed to fight on, hoping to keep the emperor's throne. The Allies demanded unconditional surrender. Truman faced a grim set of options: invade, continue the bombing, or use the new atomic weapon. The invasion plan, Operation Downfall, promised catastrophic losses, possibly 1 million American deaths and far more Japanese. The Battle of Okinawa had shown what was to come: suicidal resistance, kamikaze attacks, and civilians caught in the inferno. The American public, exhausted by years of war, wanted it to end. On July 26th, the Allies issued the Potsdam Declaration, warning Japan of prompt and utter destruction if it did not surrender. Japan ignored the ultimatum. Days later, Truman gave the final order. At 2:45 a.m. on August 6th, the Enola Gay took off from Tinian Island carrying a little boy, a uranium bomb. Hiroshima, an industrial and military center, was chosen as the target. At 8:15 a.m., the bomb detonated 600 meters above the city. In a heartbeat, Hiroshima vanished. A vast mushroom cloud rose and the world entered a new age. 3 days later, a second bomber, Boxcar, dropped Fat Man on Nagasaki. Despite heavy clouds, the weapon found its mark. Tens of thousands more died. Within days, Japan's emperor broke with his generals and addressed his people for the first time, announcing surrender. World War II, history's deadliest conflict, was finally over. But even as peace returned, doubts remained. Was the bomb truly necessary? Many of Truman's own advisors, including Dwight Eisenhower and Admiral William Leahy, believed Japan was already near surrender, especially with the Soviet Union entering the war on August 8th. Some argued that a demonstration on an uninhabited area could have been enough. Truman disagreed. He insisted that the bomb saved countless lives by avoiding a drawn-out invasion. "I saw it as a weapon of war," he later said, "and I never doubted that it should be used." There was also a political reality. The Soviets were moving toward Japan. Using the bomb before they could gain ground would not only end the war swiftly, but also limit Soviet influence in post-war Asia. Whether that calculation was decisive or not remains a matter of debate, but the timing was clear. The aftermath in Japan was unimaginable. The bustling streets of Hiroshima and Nagasaki became silent wastelands. Survivors, the hibakusha, wandered through ruins, burned, blinded, and broken. Many would suffer from radiation for the rest of their lives. The bombings left scars that time could never fully heal, physical, emotional, and moral. Historians still wrestle with the same question. Was it a tragic necessity or an unforgivable act? Some see it as the price that ended the war and saved lives. Others view it as a warning of humanity's darkest capability. What cannot be denied is that in a single instant, mankind entered an age where it could destroy itself. The nuclear arms race that followed defined the Cold War and shaped global politics for generations. For Truman, the choice never left him. Though he claimed he never lost sleep, those close to him knew otherwise. For Japan, the pain endures. Hiroshima and Nagasaki stand as monuments to both the horror of war and the fragile hope for peace. Nearly 8 decades later, the question remains, was the atomic bomb the necessary end to one war or the beginning of another? In 1945, humanity crossed a threshold. From that day forward, victory and tragedy would forever share the same light.